Okay, let's jump right in. Today we're unpacking a case study that, it feels like an archetype for a certain kind of e-commerce operation. We're talking about a retailer called Laera and Cole.
Right. And our sources are mainly these incredibly detailed consumer reviews that all seem to point to the same pattern.
A pattern where this really compelling, very emotional marketing story runs into a serious gap in pretty much everything that follows.
Exactly. We're talking delivery, product quality, and maybe most importantly, financial transparency. Our goal here is to really analyze the tactics at play.
So let's start where the journey begins for any customer, the initial pitch. The business was selling what it called authentic Icelandic knitwear crafted since 1957,
And they were pushing these massive discounts, up to 80% off.
plus a 30-day return policy, free shipping. I mean, you combine that heritage story with a huge sale, and that creates this immediate, almost irresistible pull.
It absolutely creates impulse. But what's really fascinating is how the reviews pinpoint the psychological tactics behind it.
The story.
The story. The founder was supposedly closing the business because it was too hard to run after Cole passed away. That right there is, well, it's the sympathy principle layered right on top of scarcity selling.
A closing business means the inventory is limited. You have to act now.
You have to act now. And the emotional narrative is really designed to bypass your logical defenses. The part of your brain that would normally say, hang on, let me check some reviews first.
So wait, if the hook is closing down forever, how does that square with all the operational issues that came later? Is the tragedy just window dressing for the 80% off deal?
It seems designed to be. And the result, according to all these customer reports, is this huge gap between the ad and the reality. People said they ordered based on these beautiful professional photos.
And what they got was not that.
Not that at all. They used phrases like extremely low-quality products, or in some cases, completely different items. We call that a classic bait and switch.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? The service funnel. So you get the wrong item, and naturally you want your money back.
Of course.
But the reports say customer service was virtually non-existent. People were met with, what, automated responses? Silence?
All of the above. Or they get these attempts to talk them out of a full refund, maybe offering a tiny partial refund instead.
That failure seems almost intentional, like it's part of the model.
It really does. It's a funnel designed to lead complaints into a dead end. And that seems to enable the next stage because we also saw consistent reports about the delivery itself.
Right, long delays, items that just never showed up.
And fake tracking information,
Yep.
numbers that just led nowhere. That lack of traceability is always a big sign that there's a deeper issue with transparency.
So if customer service is a brick wall, what happens next? This is where the sources get into the most serious allegations. We're talking about financial activity.
Yeah, and this is where the conversation shifts from just, a poorly run store to potential data misuse.
What kind of misuse?
We saw reports of continued charges beyond the initial purchase, sometimes unauthorized recurring charges. It suggests that payment information might have been exploited.
Wow. Okay, so now we're in a totally different league. The risk is much higher than just losing out on a sweater.
Much higher.
So what does this mean for someone who might have placed an order? This is probably the most valuable part of this whole deep dive, the actionable advice.
Absolutely. The guidance from the sources is very clear. If you used a credit card, you should initiate a chargeback with your provider immediately.
And credit cards have better legal protections, Ralph.
Far better. If you used a debit card, you need to contact your bank's fraud department right away. And in either case, document everything. Your confirmation emails, photos of what you received versus what was advertised, every attempt at communication.
That documentation is your primary defense.
It's everything.
So this case really highlights how important it is to question these powerful emotional stories in e-commerce and to, check them against what real customers are saying.
We're not just looking at a bad store. We're analyzing a sales tactic that uses sympathy and scarcity to get past our usual consumer diligence.
And it leaves us with a pretty important question.
It really does. How can we as modern consumers balance that impulse we get from a time-limited, emotionally powerful offer with the diligence we need to do, to verify who we're really buying from before we hand over our information?
Keep questioning everything. This has been educational commentary and is not financial or medical advice. This deep dive is for informational purposes only.